Welcome to our little live streaming sample of one of the classes we do here on our Be Well, Stay Well network. Oops, lost the camera there for a second. But anyways, I wanted to kind of give you guys a little sense of what we do. Let me just make sure my other camera for when our live, there we go, for when our live, my actual platform comes on. But anyways, let's get ourselves going here. So what our class is going to be today is actually one using the Konnections band. Sorry, this is shaky as I'm adjusting it. And the Konnections band and the OOV. So those of you who've never heard of either of these, that's okay. A lot of people haven't. But if you're a Pilates teacher, these are probably some of the most valuable tools that I integrate within the studio. So really quick, a Konnections band is this long resistance band, and these have little loops on the end. If you don't have this, you can actually use a long, light resistance band and just tie loops at the end for your feet. So we're going to be using this. This Connected Dots class is much different than a lot of the workouts where you're getting a workout. In this class, we're really trying to create connection and awareness with the body. People that have issues with balance, who have a lot of hypermobility, that sort of thing, this is a great class for that. If you've got a lot of stiffness in your neck, this is one of those classes. And then this is the OOV, and so some of you may or may not have seen the OOV before. So the OOV is basically a foam made out of a specialized dense foam that has just enough compression to where it kind of pushes back into you. I'm going to take off my shoes here as I'm talking. As it pushes back into you. So that way, when you are standing, lying, sitting, whatever position that you're on it, it's actually giving you a constant, just enough of an instability to where you've got to be able to figure out where that's at. Not consciously, but your body's got to unconsciously do it. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. You don't think about how you're going to maintain your balance. You have to have all of these sort of neurological connections that help you do that. And that's where we're going to combine these two wonderful tools. So just kind of if you're wondering kind of where you can get these can be purchased at Pilates.com. I actually have an affiliate link that gives you a little small discount, but you can go to Pilates.com. And yeah, so they're really wonderful. OOVs come in small, medium, and large, and size does matter, and they matter because a lot of which because of weight. So if you're somebody that maybe say you're 5'5" and shorter and you're really petite, I would recommend the small. Medium's probably somewhere between, if you're between sort of 5'4", 5'5", and maybe about 6 foot. It's kind of on the upper end. I'm 6 foot. Medium, I'm kind of in between the medium and the large, but for a lot of the supine work where we're lying down, the medium works better. This is a medium, and once again I'm 6 foot, but I'm going by weight. So if you're weighing like maybe 150, 160 pounds or less, but maybe over, say, 130 pounds, maybe that medium tends to work best, and then larges for kind of anything above that. So anyways, that's rough. There are different ways we can size OOVs, and I think I have a sizing video somewhere on my YouTube channel here in terms of what is the best for, once again, it depends, because sometimes there's factors such as, do you have hardware? Do you have low bone density? There's are you somebody who's particularly hypermobile, or are you somebody that's hypomobile, really rigid? Sometimes we like to size up or size down based on some of those factors, so we can really optimize when we're using the OOV as a tool. So I'm gonna just kind of mention the OOV can be used as a tool or a prop. So when it's used as a tool, I'm using it in my corrective work. This class is not designed to be corrective, but there will be elements of some of the things that I do when I'm doing corrective work. This is just a pure wellness class, general. Once again, I'm not going to be, we're not going to be curing anything. We're not fixing anything. I'm a physical therapist, but not your PT here at this moment. And then the like I said, the Konnections band. This was developed by Victor Vigan, who you might know from, he's the developer of the connector retrofit on balanced body reformers, which is fantastic because that allows you to use potentially 4 limbs at once as opposed to just 2 limbs moving at the same time. I don't know if I have any videos in here. We have actually connector reformer classes within our platform. But just kind of I'm kind of talking quickly here. We'll start this class in about 4 minutes. But, so if you're watching the recording of this and you're seeing all this right now, you can sort of fast forward. And I don't know if I can edit and clip this at the end, but yeah, our Connect the Dots class is just like a 30-minute class. Honestly, it could be a lot longer, but I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna immediately follow it after about 5 minutes with a jumping. We have a jumping practice, and all we use is like a kitchen chair. And so once again, you know, my idea is that we're trying to focus on, as I like to say, bodies that have been places. You know, if you have had some prior injuries, maybe you're a little bit more mature than you were when you were 20s and 30s. And those, you know, there's great workouts out there on YouTube and subscriptions and all that. Sometimes the tough thing is that they don't necessarily, they're really appealing to maybe an audience that might be more athletic, that might be a lot younger, that hasn't had all the places, you know, all the things happen that your body may have gone through. So, www.bewellstaywell.net. It's $39 a month, and that's access to, we have like over 90 live classes a month. And we have hundreds of classes that are on demand. And those classes will have OOV, we'll have connection bands, we'll have towels, we'll have nothing, we'll just be mat. We'll have reformers, we even have the chairs, balance sits, rotator discs. We got like all the things in there. And what's cool is that they start out, they're always taught live. So you have some interaction with the teacher before, you know, and after. So it's really one of those unique opportunities to be able to really have that conversation. I'm not going for a perfect studio, you know, I mean, this is kind of nice. I'm in Puerto Vallarta right now, so I don't have a bad backdrop. But it's not like this beautiful, pretty, you know, the most perfect studio lighting. It is, are you getting content from really, really highly qualified, highly regarded teachers in the industry, and at the same time having that access, like literal live access with them. So yeah, so I teach almost daily on the platform. So it's kind of cool because we actually do develop a community in there, and you know, people know each other. We have little conversations beforehand. I've been doing a little less of that since I've been doing our live streaming, but just because I don't want to be necessarily putting all of our conversations out there here. I do have some people that are starting to sign on, and so I'm going to probably just take a little, like if you see me looking over to the side for a moment, getting them going, that's okay. Just you'll hear my little conversation with our folks as they're coming on. And yeah, so we're looking forward to having you go. We're going to start here in just a second. So, all right. Good morning. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me okay? Just doing a little mic check. Okay, cool.
Better than yesterday.
Okay, oh, that's good to know. I wonder, you know, I think my mic I think I need to recharge my battery, so thank you for letting me know. I'll go back and listen to that recording.
It's okay. You know, this is louder.
All right, perfect. All righty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get ourselves going here. Anybody have any requests, dedications, things you want to focus on? Anything that's bugging you? Nope. All right. Well, oh, Sharon, do you have anything?
No, but this is the first time I'm taking this class because I wanted to do an OOV, so
yes.
I'm going to use the yellow band because I don't have one of those.
Yeah, that's fine. Is your band long?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So I'll kind of give some little modifications if you don't, because usually we take that long band and we tie the ends at the end, you know, so it's like 8-foot band and you can kind of tie the ends. But if yours isn't quite that long, you can do a lot of this class with just elements of it. So I'll try to kind of let you know on that if you don't have it. Okay? Yeah, no problem. All right, I'm going to mute you guys here, and I'm just going to spotlight myself on this camera just in case. But I can still see you. And let me hit record so we can put this in the library.
Recording in progress.
All right. Okay. And of course, you know, we'll have all our usual Mexican noises. I'm back on my favorite spot to be able to teach here, but of course the street is like right out here. So I think Zoom does a pretty good job of hiding all my noise. All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to our Connect the Dots class with the OOV and the Konnections band. If you do not have a Konnections band, but you have a long, and preferably like a 6 to 8 foot long, like light yellow TheraBand, or you know, even red might work. And you can tie the ends into loops, that's great. If you don't have one of those that's long enough that you can tie the loops, that's okay. You can do a lot of this without it, and I'll just make sure I add some of those variations. And then an OOV, and if you don't have an OOV, you should get one. So, anyways, we're going to start. If you do have your Konnections band or your long resistance band, go ahead and just put it around your feet just so that we get it in place and we don't have to deal with that anymore. And we'll just do a couple quick little things here just to make sure that you're, I like to kind of shake it out a little bit and just take a moment and just make sure when you lift your arms overhead that it feels pretty even. Sometimes you get all the fabric bunched up in one place. All right, so those of you that do not have an OOV, or sorry, do not have a Konnections band, we are all going to take this band right now and just place it at the top of your head so that you can actually just feel for a moment yourself get a little taller. So if you don't have a band, one of these, you can actually just take your rubber band, hold it with your hands, and just think about sort of lengthening up. There will be times when we're lying down on the floor and we're supine, where I will have you put your hands on the top of your head. It's kind of hard here where I'm standing, but I just want you to see it. Where we're going to be doing a little chest lift, a little kind of almost like a little head neck lift to work the deep neck flexors. So just to make sure it stays on your head, you might be doing that. Those that have just a regular TheraBand, you can be pulling there and doing that little head lift, but sometimes it slides around a little bit. Okay? So let's take it off for a second. Go ahead and put your foot right on the kind of the bulbous end of your small part of your OOV. And from there, just take a moment just to do a little plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. Just do a little point and flex here. We're just rocking back and forth. Now, once you kind of got that going, you like where your foot is, go ahead and place that band back on your head. And we're going to be doing this thinking about, once again, just not letting it move. And the idea here is that when you have something on the top of your head, you actually have to kind of almost push through it. We don't like to be compressed. We like to press into something. And if you need to bring your hands kind of out to the side here just to get the band out of your way, you can. All right, at the foot now, we're going to do some circular movements. All right, so just let the ankle move. I don't care if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. And then we're going to go ahead and switch the other direction. And we'll go ahead and relax from there. Let's take that band off for a moment. Switch your OOV around to the other side. Take a moment before we put the band on the head just to put the arch on the foot there, or arch on the OOV. Then take a moment just to flex that foot back and forth. Make sure you like where you have that OOV in your foot. And then once again, let's place that band on the top of your head and continuing that moving back and forth. Now let's go ahead and take it into the circles here with the ankle. Try to see if you can make that as isolated at the ankle as you can, as opposed to your whole knee and leg moving. Let's switch the direction of your circles. And then we'll go ahead, you can remove your band and step off. We're going to now be standing in the middle of this OOV, so I'm going to go ahead and place the OOV so the groove is basically perpendicular to parallel to my foot. Take your second toe in the groove, and we're going to stand on the skinny part, okay? Take a moment there just to feel how, if you stand in balance, there's going to be the challenge into inversion, eversion of the ankle, okay? Just see how you do with that. And then you can go ahead and take your band now, place it on the top of your head, and let's go ahead once again and just balance with that on the top. For some, it might make a difference. For some of you, it may not. It's always just a kind of a nice, like I said, just a self-awareness. All right, now, while you're there, let's go ahead and swing that leg forward and back. If you're struggling, you know, when you need to be against a wall, that's fine. But just let that leg move forward and back. Once again, those of you with just a regular band can just take that band and just hold it with your hands. All right, and then let's take that leg and just bend it a little bit. All right, we're going to bring that leg up into a 90-degree position and just see how you do with your balance. And just take the leg out to the side a little bit, just checking to see how you do. And you can kind of bring it back behind you, bring it in front of you, bring it to the side, and back to center. And you might be like, whoa, that's a lot to be doing without warming up a lot. That's okay. Just kind of testing things out. Take the band off. Let's go ahead and stand with your second toe in the groove on the other side. So once again, we're standing on that skinny part. Take a moment just to find your balance. Make sure you like where your foot is on the OOV. All right, and then when you're feeling good, go ahead and take that band, place it at the top of your head, and then once again, compare and contrast your balance here. As you feel a little bit more secure, go ahead and take that leg, just let it swing back and forth. Just kind of feel how you're upright in your posture. How nice would it be to be walking like this all the time, right? Hopefully you are. All right, and then just for something a little bit different, let's go ahead and bend the knee. Take your leg to a 90-degree angle. And then if you can, I've got to work on it, bring it out to the side, back to center, bringing it back. We'll do that one more time. Bringing it up to a 90-degree, little horizontal abduction of the hip, back to center and down. All right, let's go ahead, take this band off. We're going to do some work now sitting down. So I would take your OOV. This is where actually there might be one more thing you might need, and that would be if you need something underneath your head, if you happen to be on the shorter end and you happen to have just a longer OOV, sometimes it's good, or if you have a forward head posture, it's good to have that. So we're going to basically, before we do anything else, actually sit kind of on the front high end of your OOV. We're going to do one more thing here so that you see it in an upright position before we lie down. Take your Konnections band, place it around the back of your head, and feel how you have to press your head into that band. Your arms can be straight here. We're just going to do a little hinge and up. So just feel how the head is supported here. And you can do a little hinge back for a moment and just turn your head from right to left. And once again, the head is supported like a hammock. So when I tell you to support your head like a hammock with the band, that's what we're going to be doing lying down. All right, let's go ahead and bring it all the way back up. One more thing I'm going to show you while we are upright. I like to refer to our band sometimes doing it as a double jump rope or a jump rope. A double jump rope would be this band is around both feet, and you can feel that you actually have kind of two sides here showing of your band. So we can go ahead and let's do a little hinge back here. You can have your feet a little wider apart. And just feel how there's a little bit more resistance. All right, so we've got that. Sometimes I'll say do it as a single jump rope, so it's going to be around one foot. And so basically you'll see that there's just a single band on one side. All right, so just wanted to kind of give you that, that little terminology. We're going to lie down on your back now. And before we do anything with the Konnections band, we're going to be making sure you're on the right place on your OOV. So when you're lying down, first of all, it should feel comfortable, and your head shouldn't be cocked back. If you need something underneath your head, like I said, this is the place to do it. Now, to see if we're in the right spot, you can keep your elbows down, take one leg in a tabletop, and I just want you to unweight the other leg. Okay, don't even lift it, just unweight it. If you start to feel your neck or your upper chest or your upper body start to rise up, you need to scoot back towards the small end of the OOV to get rid of that. Okay, so we'll try that again. Just lift up one leg and just unweight the other. And then if you find like, hey, I can unweight it, there's no additional strain or feeling that the whole upper body is coming up, you're in the right spot. So take a moment just to scoot yourself where you need to. Sometimes it's just moving a little ½ inch. And once you've found that, we're going to go ahead and do something here that is going to involve the band around the top of the head. Okay, so we're putting the band at the top of the head, and this is that place where you may need to take both of your hands on this one, actually will. take both hands and place both hands behind your head. Let your elbows be the hammock, or be in your peripheral vision, and float your head up like a hammock here. So at this point, we have the band on the top of the head, and we're just supporting the head here. All right? Now from this position, take a breath, and as you exhale, feel your lower ribs come a little bit closer to your pelvis. So you'll just come up just a touch. Those that have low bone density, we're okay here, okay? So I don't have low bone density, I'm just saying we, but you're all right in this position. All right, now just maintain that for a moment and come back down. So you should have felt more of the kind of the abdominal work happening. Now, we're going to work a little bit more on what I like to call the abdominals of the neck. So you might want to now take your fingers and just hold the top, make sure the band doesn't come off your head. And you're going to just lift your head, and I want you to have your gaze kind of move kind of towards between your knees. And like almost like you're doing a little chin tuck here, so you're just holding. Okay, and I'm okay with you having your hands behind your head a little bit to support you, but I will invite you to try not to hold on and just try to let yourself hold that head up without your hands. Okay, I'm just going to put my hands down here so you can see that I'm doing that. Sometimes you need a little something to make sure it doesn't come off. All right, come all the way back down. If that was hard for you, you need to work on your deep neck flexors. All right, let's do that again. This time we're going to try to do it without using your hands. Once again, if you need to use your hands, it's just because you need to watch the band as it moves. So a little chin tuck and then a little lift of the head. Your gaze is coming down somewhere between your, kind of around your pubic bone. And just hold it there. You can have your arms at your sides. Those of you with a band, just a regular band, you can be holding it at your side as well. And then bringing everything back down. Now, we're going to go ahead and take one hand and hold the band on the top of the head. Turn your head a little bit to the left. You'll do that little chin tuck, and then you're going to just do a little lift from there. All right, so we're just using the hand at this point to really just hold on to make sure the band doesn't come off the head. And just hold that position. Bring it back to center and relax down. We're going to do it the other direction. So a little chin tuck, little head lift. Turn the head towards the right side, your mid-clavicle. Making sure that you're keeping your chin tucked a little bit and you're not letting the chin open up. Bring it back to center and relax. Is that easy? No. All right, we're going to go ahead and let go, take the band off the head. And now you're going to bring that band behind your head so that you can support your head like a hammock, like we were doing when we were sitting up. From here, just turn your head from one side of the room to the other side of the room. It has the opportunity to move easily, floating in space. We just worked those deep neck flexors, so that helped to kind of release a little bit of the tension out of the neck. All right, and then go ahead and bring everything back down. Now we're going to work a little bit with the arms. So taking your band, your Konnections band, bring your arms up overhead for a moment and bring them back down. And we're going to test to make sure we like where we're holding the band. So just move the arms up and down. That should be pretty easy. All right, then bringing the arms to the ceiling, open the band out to the side and bring it together. If you find that it's really tough to open it up, you might have to widen your grip on the band. All right, now I'm just going to invite you to bring the arms up overhead and do circles, circling them around, doing maybe three circles in one direction and then 3 circles in the other. At this point in time, both of our feet are on the floor. And we're going to change that in a little bit. Let's reverse. And just getting that awareness of where your shoulders are in space. All right, we're going to now hold the band to the ceiling, and I want you just to unweight and lift one leg a little bit. Okay, we're not lifting the tabletop, just lift it up a little bit. If you're struggling to stay up, you're going to keep one elbow down, okay? But if you're okay, just hold that balance and breathe. Let's bring both arms up overhead and continue just to hold that position. Not your breath, but the position. And bringing the band back to the ceiling. You can switch legs, take your other leg and just float it up. Once again, get your balance. If you need to put an arm down, you can. All All right, and once you get your balance there, just bring both arms overhead. Again, it's that opportunity to kind of compare and contrast how things feel when arms are overhead versus down. Bring both arms or both legs down to the floor. Take the band, place it back on the top of your head again. So now we're just going to make sure the arms are free. If you need to still hold on to the band on the top of your head, that's fine. All right, so now with the hands free, just take one leg, and this time just bring it to tabletop or bring it off the floor and just balance there. See how you do. Okay, bring that leg down. Take the other leg to tabletop and see how you do. Once again, if it's a little less than tabletop, that's fine because the band is kind of changing its stretch on one side. All right, bring that down. Now, let's go ahead. This time, we're going to do just a little small chest lift. So keeping the band on the top of the head, tuck the chin, do your little chin tuck, that little head lift, and then slide the lower ribs a little bit closer to the pubic bone, and just reach your fingertips away from you. From here, we're going to do some hundreds. You're going to inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Go ahead and peel your spine back down. Let's remove the band from the top of your head. We're going to now take one leg into tabletop, and we're going to place that band around the top of your shin, and you're going to pull down so that you can feel yourself having some resistance into the band. With your head down, just go ahead and just do some little pumping like we were just doing with our hundreds. All right? If you're able to maintain your balance there, pause the pump, tuck the chin a little bit, lift up the head, and we're going to go ahead and do our little pump, our inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. One more. Lower the head down. Place that foot down. Let's lift up the other leg, place it in tabletop. Make sure you've got your balance. If you're struggling with your balance, just keep an elbow down and just once again, just make sure you feel good there. All right, so from here, let's make sure we can do our little pumping. You might need to adjust your bands a little bit and that fabric a little bit. But find the place where you can do it, where you can pump the arms. Once you've got that, little chin tuck, little head lift, little ribs going towards your pubic bone, and then now let's inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Go ahead and relax your head back down to the floor, bring both legs back. Now, coming to your original leg, we're going to now wrap the band around the bottom of the foot. So this is that single jump rope configuration. And once again, you might need to play with the fabric of your connection band a little bit. Elbows can be down on the floor if you want. We're just going to take that leg and just move it up and down towards your head and back away from you. And if you can take your elbows off and go ahead and do the same thing. Now, I'll invite you, let's bring the legs up to the leg up to the ceiling. Straighten your other leg and just let it hover for a moment. You can keep your elbows down on this. All right, and we're going to do a little scissor. We're going to just switch the leg. All right, and just scissoring back and forth. Now, if you need to lift up if you want to challenge yourself, you could just unweight your elbows a little bit, and it becomes a whole new rodeo here. All right, going back and forth. And then go ahead and just bend that knee, pause. You can put the foot back on the floor. Go ahead and take both feet back on the floor again. We're going to now place the band around the other foot to repeat the same thing. So single jump rope configuration with the band on the other foot. And we're going to go ahead and just start with just that kick up and down. So the leg is straight, a little energy through the foot, and you're just holding on. If you want to let go with your elbows and see how you do, see if you can maintain your balance while you're just moving that leg up and down, that's fine. All right, now let's go ahead and pause with that leg up to the ceiling. I'll invite you to take the other leg out straight and just let it hover. Put your elbows back down for balance. We're going to go ahead and do the scissors. Switch, switch. So one leg is up, one leg is down. Continue to keep that energy out through the heel, really reaching long. And then we'll go ahead, bring both legs back in. You can put a foot down, take that leg off. All right, we're going to do one last thing here. That's just a little bit more of a challenge. Take a leg in the tabletop and take the other leg in the tabletop. And just see for a moment, if you were to let go with your arms, and you can bring your arms to your fingertips to the ceiling, could you balance there? All right? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. If you can, great. All right, let's put your feet back down. Take the band now and place it around the top of your head. You can keep your head down. All right? Bring one leg to tabletop and bring the other leg to tabletop. And then once again, let's see if you can let go. Now, if you're finding that that band is moving, you can certainly take a hand and hold on to it. But you can see how you do. Sometimes it's just a matter of adjusting where that band is. And just hold your balance, not your breath. All right? Bring everything back in. You can remove the band and now place the band around the top of your shins. All right, you can keep the elbows down, and you're going to straighten the elbows, so you have to really work to keep the arms straight and try to touch the palms to the floor, and then release, let the elbows bend. Straighten the arms, try to touch the palms to the floor, and release. Two more. Reaching long, hold the palms down, and this is where you'll feel a little tricep work. One more, pressing down and hold. Not your breath, the position, and release. All right, this time straighten the arms, hold those palms if you can, and if you can, see if you can let your arms lift off. So now you're hovering, but you're essentially in that hovering position. And see how you do with your balance. You've got to put a hand down, you're there. All right, and then just go ahead and relax. We're going to roll on off of the OOV here. Take a moment just to get your brains back on. And we're going to sit down on the top of your OOV. I'm going to face you guys here. All right. So we're still on the top of our OOV here. Take a moment just to let yourself rock side to side so you can appreciate that happens. I'm going to invite you to let your legs move out to the side here, so we're in our diamond sit. The wider you have your feet, the better support you have. All right, now, we'll do this first one without anything. Just take one hand down to the floor, reach the top arm up, and just lengthen that sit bone away. All right, bring everything back up. Go into the other side, drop a hand, reach up with that top hand, and drop the other sit bone down. And bring everything back upright. All right, let's go ahead and take your band now. We're going to bring the arms up overhead, and then I want you just to let one arm come down, touch the floor, keep reaching the top arm up, and then drop that opposite sit bone down. So really reaching long, reaching up. I'm going to invite you guys to open a little bit to the ceiling and back to neutral. If you don't have low bone density, you can reach forward. Okay, so once again, just pay attention. Now this might hit you in the face here, that's okay. Don't hit yourself too hard. All right, bring yourself back up. Come back up to both arms overhead and take a moment just to relax the arms. All right, back up again. Both arms up. Take the other arm down to the side. Let yourself fall over there. Reaching up with that top hand, drop the sit bone down. And then now with this top arm, you can rotate back and rotate back to center. We're just going back and forth. Now, if you want to take your arm and your body a little forward, if you don't have low bone density, you can. Okay, so it can be more of a dramatic rotation, or it can just be a little mini rotation neutral to extension for those with low bone density. All right, bring everything back upright and go ahead and relax. We're going to take the arms back overhead. This time, just doing a little balance work, just back and forth. Finding that length, keeping those arms up. And then go ahead and let yourself lean back, reach back, come back upright. Leaning back, hinging at your hips, and coming back. We'll go one more time. It's a little balance. And back upright. All right, we're going to go ahead and come on up to standing. We didn't do our quadruped today, but that's okay. All right, we're going to now stand with that second toe in the groove on the top part of your OOV. All right, and just find a place where you can stand and balance, and once again, should be able to have that free leg. Once you find that, let's go ahead and we're going to take those arms just up overhead for a moment. Just make sure everything feels good there. And you've got that free leg, all right? We're going to do that little side bend, just to one side, finding that length, coming back upright. Try to find that side bend going the opposite direction, and back upright. Let's go back and forth. One more time to the other side. Bring it back up. Take that band on the top of your head and just let yourself have a little bounce from the foot. All right. And then let those arms come up overhead. Take that inhale up here and exhale down to the sides. All right, we're going to step off. Take the band off. Step with the other second toe in the groove, standing up on your OOV, and then take a moment here. Bring both arms up overhead, and just make sure you've got that, you are able to kind of swing that leg and you've got your balance. Once you establish that, go ahead and let's do a little side bend. It's okay if you got to put a toe down. A little side bend over to one side, bring it back up. A little side bend to the other side. So you're only going to be able to side bend as far as you can control it. Okay, this is your bicycle at work. If you try to do this on an air-filled surface, there's too much mobility. The OOV gives just the right amount of feedback to bring you to your center. And bring everything back up. Relax the arms. All right, let's go ahead and bring both those arms up again just for a moment. Let's swing that leg back and forth. No, we didn't do that on the other side. We did one more thing on the other side and I forgot already. All right, let's go ahead and bring everything back down. That's okay, sometimes we forget. Okay, we're going to end with just bringing both feet up onto the top of your OOV so that your groove splits the upright. And from here, just take a moment just to let your body just have a little bounce up and down. Make sure you like where you're at on the OOV. Once you're there, take your take your band. I remember we forgot on the other side, that's okay. Take your band on the top of your head. We forgot to do the single leg bounce. We'll be a little lopsided, that's okay. And we're just gonna do a little up and down, a little oscillation here. And just let yourself spiral side to side. Let's bring our arms up overhead with that little spiral back and forth. If you got to be in front of a wall, make sure you don't fly off of here, that's fine. All right, bring it back to center. Take your band back into your arms overhead. From here, we're going to do a little extension. Reach your chest up to the ceiling. You're not going to extend a lot, but this band gives you a little feedback. Bring it back to upright. Again, we're going to reach up. Find that expansion up to the sky. And back to center. Last one. Everything up overhead. And bring it back. Let's go ahead and let the arms come back down. And just come into a little partial squat. Okay, so it's a little hinge. We're going to take your band. Elbows are going to be bent. Put a little bit of tension in it. All right, and then we're just going to come up to a stand. Come all the way up to a tall stand. Bend the elbows. Come back into your partial squat. Coming back up. Find that length. And coming back down. Okay, so yeah, we can do this on the floor. It's more fun on an OOV. More challenging on an OOV. It's going to require a lot more connection, a lot more balance. Now, if you want, do a little small rotation to one side. Bring it back in. Do a little small rotation to the other side. Bring it back in. Let's do that one more time, each direction. Moving up and down. We'll go one more time up and down. And then let's go ahead, come back to standing, just drop your band, let your arms go free, and just let them swing, and just let yourself have a little bounce on your OOV. And we're gonna go ahead and just come up to a stand and back down. Up to a stand and down. Hopefully you don't kick yourself off your OOV. It wants to. All right, let's go one more time. While you're still on the top of your OOV, take both hands up overhead, big inhale, or the fingertips out. Exhale, arms down to your side. Go ahead and just carefully dismount your OOV, and we are all done. All right. Hopefully, you guys all hung in there today. How did that go for everybody? Feel free to unmute.
Well, it was challenging because my yellow band only goes, it doesn't go all the way around, so it wasn't long enough. So,
Yeah.
But that was okay. You know, the balancing things were challenging. I could see how the connecting tool that you have would help.
Yeah,
connect
yeah.
the bottom with the top.
Exactly. So, because then you can go hands-free. And that's
Right.
what's nice, is when you can go hands-free and let the arms kind of move a little bit, it does make a big difference. So, yeah, I love this. I love this band. It just allows us to do a lot more things where we can combine things where we're hands-free, but then also using it. And the fabric actually is nice because it's a little easier to grip than a conventional band. And like Cheryl there uses, you know, for some people we've been using the, you know, I say wear some weightlifting gloves, lacrosse gloves, if you've got like those arthritic thumbs and it's tough to hold on to. But it's also easy to kind of have different grips, so you don't have to always hold it with your thumb. You can kind of interlace it between other fingers and still actually keep it together and be able to still do some of this work. So yeah, it's just, it is always a little eye-opening though, you know, on some of the things, even just sort of doing some of the hundreds. How did you do with kind of that hundreds position?
Yeah, that was hard. I just did a regular 100, you know?
Yeah. And a regular 100 on an OOV, like I said, even if you don't have one or the other, you still have a good workout.
Yeah.
Excellent,
sure.
excellent.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, I'll go ahead. Let me stop the recording on this one. And then we're going to go...
recording stopped.
Yeah, we're going to be going right into our next class, which is our jumping practice. So, those that are sticking around for that, that starts in a couple minutes here. So, all you're going to need for your jumping class is, I'm going to actually put my shoes back on. You want to make sure you can press into a surface that's not going to go anywhere. So, you can use a chair. You can use a countertop. You can use whatever you want, and you don't even need it. But this is going to help with some of our some of the progression, especially if you guys have not done a lot of jumping. So I'm going to go ahead and just adjust. I think the only reason why I have my mat here is it's going to keep my chair from moving. But I'm going to be jumping without the mat. I want traction. And in terms of which direction you put your chair, you may like it so that you have the big end towards you, so we could kind of use it to push up against. So that's why a countertop looks really great. You might find that you want to have a chair and not far from a wall, because some of the things we do might be easier sometimes just being more upright, and you just want a little something for balance. So just kind of know where your wall space is and things in your room so that you can utilize it as you need to. But yeah, just kind of give ourselves a few minutes. How have you guys been doing with the jumping work? Have all your body parts been hanging in there? I know this is the age where people have all of the plantar fasciitis things and old knee and ankle things, and so just want to check in with that. Everybody been okay? All right. Nobody's jumping to their mic to unmute, so that's good. I always like to make sure we're doing everything right. All right, well, it is time to get started. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna just mute all again, just in case, and I'm gonna hit record.
Recording in progress.
And I'll just make sure here I'm spotlighted, but I can see you all. Okay, cool. All righty. If you want to see yourself, you can put yourself in gallery view. Sometimes it's nice to see what you're doing, so feel free to do that. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our jumping for bone health, our jump start to bone health. And this jumping practice is once again, these are put in the library, so you can always go back, refer to them. It's nice to be doing something that involves a little bit of high impact, 2 to 3 times a week for like 5-10 minutes. That said, we have to always appreciate tissue adaptation. We also have to appreciate the amount of padding that you may or may not have or may have lost over the years in your feet. So this is one, if you need to put some shoes on, put some shoes on. I'm on hard tile, I've got my shoes on. All we're gonna need is a countertop or a chair that's not gonna move, so we can use that. And we're just gonna go ahead and start out with 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Both feet are facing straight ahead, and we're gonna you can just bend that back knee for a second, okay? And just keep that heel down. And then I'm going to have you straighten that back leg, so you're really aware of that leg being directly behind you. We're going to roll up onto the ball of that foot, roll back down. When you roll down, lift the toes, keep the back leg straight. So just moving up and down. You can do this up against the wall. It doesn't have to be up against a chair. All right, for that matter, you don't even have to hold on to anything. We're just moving up and down. But the idea here is we are actually getting some length, getting some mobility through the ankle, through the big toe, but at the same time, we're actually utilizing the muscle to get out of it. So it's not a passive stretch, it's kind of a dynamic stretch here. All right, that's important. If you try to do something with power and you're just doing a passive stretch, it actually works against you because your brain doesn't know what to do with that new motion. All right, let's go ahead now, drop that back heel, bend that back leg and straighten the back leg. And I want you to notice, you feel the work or you feel the limitation at the back, at the Achilles tendon, or at the front of your ankle. Okay, this gives you a little bit of insight as to your ankle mobility, where things might be a little bit more limited. Now, let's keep that back leg straight. You're going to hinge forward a bit more. So your front leg is bent, back leg is bent. We're going to straighten and bend that front leg. And you should feel a little bit of stretch through that front leg. And then keep that front leg bent and straighten and bend the back leg from here. Okay, you may or may not feel much, that's okay. Just getting a little bit of your brain sort of knowing how to move things. All right, bend both knees, come all the way back up. Switch the position of your legs, so the other foot is forward, other one is back. Heels are down. We're going to go ahead and start with just bending that back knee, trying to keep that back heel down, and straightening. Now, keeping the back leg straight, we're going to roll up onto the ball of that foot, roll back down, lift the toes at the bottom, and then back up again. Okay, so really think about keeping the back leg as straight as you can. Your front leg is just bent. It's soft, and we're just rolling in and out of your full range dorsiflexion, legs straight. Now drop that back heel, bend the back knee, keep the toes lifted a little bit, and straighten the back knee. Bend the back knee and straighten. And once again, notice where you may feel the limitation. Mine's in the front of my ankle, so mine is ankle, it's joint. All right, now let's go ahead and bend the back leg, hinge forward a little bit more from the hip, so we're still in neutral spine. And then now focusing on that back leg, we're going to straighten and bend the back leg. Kind of doing this opposite of what we did on the other side, if it's okay. All right, bend that back leg, straighten and bend the front leg. So you're going to feel that a little more hamstring. And then go ahead and bring everything back. Take a moment just to walk yourself back. Find your kind of deep squat, arms are in front, and I want you to feel how your sit bones here are wide open, okay? And then from here, I want you to drop down so that you can get yourself as low as you can go, but with your arms up overhead. We're just thinking about really reaching long from the top. And then come up to standing, and if you can press your body weight into that chair, we're going to end up in a plank. So coming down, and you may need to adjust where your feet are. Coming down, 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 as low as you're able to, and coming back up into that plank. Now the next time you go into that plank, we're going to just roll up onto the balls of your feet. So this is where you just really want to make sure your surface is not going anywhere. Going back down, low as you can, and coming back up. Heels are going as high as they can. Let's do that one more time. And once you find that plank position, we're going to drop one heel and then drop the other heel. So once again, if you're feeling that your surface is moving too much, just get up against a wall. This is where sometimes you just need to grab the wall. All right, and then let's go ahead and bring it all the way back in. Coming up to upright, let's take a moment. We're going to do some little heel rocks here. So just let yourself just kind of go up and down like you're just kind of slapping your heels down. And I want you just to feel how the impact feels through your body. If you're getting this, if you're already noticing like, ooh, I'm feeling something in my back, you're going to know that higher impact is not going to be great for you. So just note that you might be doing things where when I'm adding kind of this little double jump, this movement where we're not leaving the floor, you may not be leaving the floor much. Okay, let's go ahead and put one foot forward, one foot back. Let's do that same little up and down movement. You're going to hold on to something. Hold on to something. Are we working the calves here? Yes. Or is only one heel probably touching? Yes, the front one. That's the only one that's going to be actually boom, boom, boom. Both heels are working. Both calves are working. Switch. All right, and then once again, finding that little up and down. Getting a little bit of this idea of kind of this little quicker, fast twitch movement. And bring everything back in. All right, so now let's go ahead. We're going to step away from the chair a little bit, and we're going to go back into your hinge. And I want you to take your arms back behind you, okay, and bring the arms way up. And I want you to come down, and I want you just to pulse here for a moment. All right, now as you're pulsing, take a glance down at your knees. Make sure your knees are not deciding to buckle in. They should be staying in alignment. Okay, we're skiing down the hill. If your knees are doing that, that's not good. Okay, so imagine you got a little band around. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take this up. Both arms up and back down. Both arms up and back down. And just moving up and down. I want you to really come down and think about catching yourself. All right, as though all of a sudden you fell down and you had to catch yourself. Now, this time we're going to roll up onto the balls of the feet up. Focus on the up. All right, we're going to add a double bounce on this. So we're going to come down and we're going to go bounce, bounce, bounce. We're not going to do that double bounce for a second. Let me just get the arms going. We're just bouncing again. Okay, so now I'm going to have you bounce, bounce, and then let's go up. Bounce, bounce, and then whenever it makes sense to come back up, come back up. It's sometimes just waiting for the arms to actually get in the right phase so you can bring yourself up. Okay, so just moving in and out of that. So once again, if this is all you guys do during the week, this is a great way just to get the tissues used to some of this. Okay, let's do that one more time. And up and come on back in. Let's march things out. And I want you to take those knees up high. And as you come up high, I want you to think about your feet really having to roll up and spring up off the floor. So once again, each time you come down, you're getting a little bit of impact through the lower body. This is once again the opportunity to feel, how does this feel? Maybe you're not going to feel it in your spine. How does this feel to your joints down below? How does this feel to your feet, to your knees, to your hips? Things are hurting, bring it down. Maybe you focus on going quicker and not so fast, or not so high. Okay, it's going to be more impact higher you go. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back to center for a moment. Face your wall or your chair. Take your legs into a wide turnout. Take note that your knees are passing over the second toe or over your toes. They're not dropping inwards. All right, so we get a little bit of work there. And bring it back in. All right, we're going to do a little shuffle step here. So holding on to the to your counter, just take his legs out to the side, bring it back to center, other leg out to the side, back to center. Okay, so the easiest version of this is just quick, 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 quick. All right, now, if you can't take impact, just do quick, 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 but don't hold on. All right, now, if you want, you can actually do a little hop, 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 back and forth. Now, what I didn't give you was the option to do a little double bounce. So you can actually try that. Some of you may like the double bounce, some of you may like just the hop. Now, if you're doing okay with this back and forth, the skip, feel free to let go. Are you gonna get some cardio with this class today? Yes. All right, and bring it back to center. Okay, we're gonna do the same sort of thing, but this time we're gonna be going forward and back. So, let's take a moment, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and I just want you to do that little bounce, bounce, and switch. Bounce, bounce, switch. Use the countertop to help you, and just do a little bounce, bounce, back and forth. All right, now, if you want, you can actually go back and forth without the bounce, bounce. You get a little tricep work here. If you're using your counter or your chair, you can let go. That's all you, baby. All the lower body. So once again, back up into whatever progression and whatever version you need to do to feel good for you. All right, bring it back in. We're going to pretend now we've got a little plus sign on the floor. We're going to be doing some kind of side-to-side movements. So we're going to start with that little double jump, that little bounce. So if you're on the top left sort of side of your line, just do some little bounces here. Let the heel come up. All right? Now, let's go ahead and just take a little hop to the other side. Once again, the heels can be up here. All right, now let's go hop, 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 hop. So just giving yourself a little double bounce. Gives you a little chance to recover your cardio a little bit. All right, you can go back and forth now without the double bounce, you can. You can use your arms, help you out, get that tricep work. Or if you can do it without holding on, back and forth. Remember, if anything's not feeling right, you stick to that easier version. Let's go ahead and relax. All right. Now we're going to work a little bit forward and back. It's a little harder. All right, so let's come back. We'll start a little bit away here. Let's do our bounce, bounce, and then bounce, bounce forward. Bounce, bounce, back. And just go back and forth, getting the hang of that. Like I said, for some of you, this may be it. Be mindful of those knees. All right, if you can go back and forth without the bounce, bounce, I'll invite you to do that. Feel free to go back to the bounce, bounce at any point. Okay, if you can do that without holding on, great. If not, like I said, don't try to go to a place that you're not ready for yet, especially if you haven't jumped from forever. We jump all the time. All right, let's relax. Back to high knee. Now we're going to take those high knees out to the side. Take the high knees back to center. All right. We're gonna now, with that plus sign, we're gonna work our way around each quadrant. Okay, so we got our upper left, upper right, back left. And we're just gonna make a little circle, kind of clockwise, then we'll go counterclockwise. Okay, we're gonna start with the double bounce with it though. Come on back. Start in your upper left quadrant. Let's bounce there for a moment so we know where we're at. Okay, we're gonna do a bounce, bounce, hop into your upper right. Bounce, bounce, back right. Bounce, bounce, back left. Bounce, bounce, up right. You can stay there, or you can just do, I'm still with the double bounce. You can just go all the way, single little baby bounce. You can do it without holding on. That's the other option. Go one more time here, and then let's go ahead and come up to our upper right quadrant. Back to the bouncies, and bounce, 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 bounce. So we're going the opposite direction. And just go ahead and start to take it into a speed and pattern that makes sense to you. It's a little combination of coordination and tissue ability. Okay, if you can do it without pulling on, it's a little more proprioceptive awareness as well. Let's go one more time and march it out. All right, we're going to do kind of a little jumping jack type motion next. And we will use the chair to start, or your counter to start. Okay, so coming back to center, find your bounce, bounce. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just bounce, bounce wide. Stay out there. Come back in. Go back out wide. Go back in. Go back out wide. Okay? Now as you're getting the hang of that, make less of those double bounces or less of those triple bounces. And then you can take them more to a single bounce. Again, here we are using those triceps again to help us. If you feel like you can do this without, go back and forth, and by golly, this is a jumping jack. So take it into a jumping jack if you want. Jumping jacks are part of a jumping practice. And then go ahead and relax. Back to high knee. All right. Let's take a moment to start working on kind of getting a little more distance. And we're going to do that via a single leg kind of movement. It's a bit easier than doing a broad jump movement. Okay, so step away from your chair. Come back into your little partial squat here. Okay, we're going to take a big step forward. And while you're here, you can have your chair do that little bounce, bounce. Okay, so now you're essentially on one leg. Okay, come back. Bounce back's on more on the back leg. All right, back again, forward. Bounce, bounce, back. Bounce, bounce. And just go back and forth. Like I said, it doesn't be 2 bounces, it's going to be 4 bounces. Just get yourself kind of set, feeling yourself shift that weight, and jump from the front leg to the back leg. All right, now if you feel like you want to just go back and forth, again, feel what you need to do, find your rhythm. And for some of you, it might be back and forth this way. Okay, so take it whatever version. All right, relax. Let's go ahead and go into the other configuration. So, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Go ahead and just find your bounce, bounce on the front leg, bounce, bounce on the back leg. Bounce, bounce, front leg, and just kind of going back and forth, feeling that. And whenever you want to take it back and forth, you can. Again, you can use the wall. Wall is great to push off of here. You can kind of push yourself back away from it. And then if you want to just go back and forth, you can. You know, we're adding that little bounce in between. All right, and then go ahead and just relax. Okay, so today we kind of got a little start with doing something a little further away, but also a little start with some single leg work. We haven't really done as much single leg yet. We'll kind of get more into that as we continue with these. But I'm going to go back to that double one. So let's come back just into our little free arm swings. Just make sure there's nothing in your way. Okay, we're just going to start with just a vertical. Okay, so we're going to do a bounce, bounce, and come up. Bounce, bounce. We already did this before. And come up. Now I'm going to invite you to get some air. Going up and then just bounce, bounce. Just kind of get yourself oriented. Okay, you know what you're doing. Get your rhythm right so that your arms can kind of help find the momentum to get up. Be mindful of your alignment of your knees. Not worry about how high you go. I want your landing to be good. Now, if you feel like you can do this, going up, down and up, down and up, you can. If you feel like, okay, I got this, I can really work for going high, that's up to you. And once again, you got to recognize, have you jumped before? How long has it been since you jumped? Have you ever jumped? Are you a basketball player like me or not? Okay? And go ahead and come on back. All right. I think we will save the single leg jumping for another day. We had a little bit of an intro to it. So let's just go ahead and march it out. Get ourselves cooled down a little bit. Take your arms behind your head. Press the back of your head into your hands. Rotate your body towards one side. Keep your knees facing straight ahead. And march. Go ahead and rotate your body the other direction. And march. Knees are going forward. You're rotated. Again. Other direction. And one more time. Bring it back to center. Let your arms come back down. Let's go back to those little heel drops we did earlier. Up and down, up and down. This is less of cardio work, but a little bit more calf work. And I'm going to introduce something for a single leg. So bring yourself closer actually to your chair. I'm going to invite you to just do it on one leg. Okay, keep that leg straight and just going up and down as quick as you can. Put that leg down. Take your other side. Just up and down. Get the tissues used to that. Keep that back leg straight. Watch that if you have a propensity towards hyperextension, that you really establish your leg position before you do something fast. And then switch again. All right, bring both legs down. We will let you come back into our first thing we did when we first started here. Take that back leg forward. Both of your feet are facing straight ahead. Back heel is down. Roll up onto that back ball of your foot, right back down. And now you can kind of hold on to the front leg side of your chair and just give yourself a little rotation back behind you. If you want, you can bend and straighten that back leg while you're there. Okay, bring it back. You're going to still keep your legs there, but now kind of walk your hands to the opposite side of your chair. Still keep your front leg forward. And just take a moment just to lift your back heel, drop your back heel, and just see how far back you can look behind you. All right, bring it back. Switch legs. One leg forward, one leg back. Both feet are facing straight ahead. Take a moment with that back leg, roll it up, roll it back. Keep the back leg straight as you're able to. Walk your hands over to your front leg side of your chair or surface, and go ahead and rotate behind you. I'll invite you to bend that back leg, straighten the back leg as you're there. And then bring the hands back to the front surface. Walk them over to the other side, rotate behind you. Make sure your knee is pointing straight ahead. If you want to just roll up onto the back foot, roll back down, kind of check in there, but just really rotate back. And bring everything back here. March things out a little bit. Let's quiet the legs. Let's take both arms up overhead. Let's reach those arms up to the ceiling. We're going to shift the hips over to one side and just let the body have a little lean. So just reaching up through the hands, bringing everything back up. Slide the hips over and reach over the other direction. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And bring it back up. Both arms come back down again and just let them swing. Just nice and slow. Kind of almost like you're fanning yourself and trying to get the sweat to evaporate. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and bring everything back to an upright position, and we'll end with the breath. Both arms up overhead. Big inhale. Spread the fingertips out. Exhale. Arms out to your sides. All right, you guys, and we're all done. Okay, let me stop our recording here.
Recording stopped.
Okay, how did that go for you guys today? Threw in some different things.
I really like the jumping stuff. It's good. The forward and back is like the distance one.
Yeah.
Harder because I haven't done much of that, but it was good.
Yeah, especially that just kind of having to load one leg, right? And that's what you're gonna, when we do anything that's gonna be jumping on a single leg, you've gotta be able to load, right? So it's a whole different story when you have to incorporate an aspect of balance. So if somebody has weakness in their hips and they're trying to, first of all, if you're weak in the hips and you let go and you drop your hip here and you try to load there, your knee's not gonna like that because once again, the knee is a dumb joint, does what the hip and the ankle tell it to. So it's really kind of keeping everything as level as you can when we're working on that loading. And so it's just a little easier to do that when you have the other foot that's there to maintain that level pelvis. So you get, at least neurologically, the idea of what has to happen. And then we can kind of start working into the strength a little bit more with that. But then, like I said, all the other classes we do all support this class. So you guys are doing all those other things, so that's good.
Well, I also like the aerobic piece because I don't get enough of it in my life, so this is good.
This is a bit cardio, yeah. Between this and the TRX, they're sneaky cardio. So excellent. All right, well, you guys, it was great talking to you and seeing you, and I will see you again in our next class. All right, we'll see you later, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, well, I know I just put the jumping class or the connector class as the first class on here, but you kind of see how I sort of layer sometimes some of the classes that we do. I'll sometimes do back-to-back ones. So the first class actually supports the second class. So we did a lot of work in the first class in the connections, connect the dots, just to kind of know where you are in space. We have some ladies in this who are in our Be Well, Stay Well that are have a little bit of hypermobility. So if you start asking a person to do quicker motions and you have hypermobility, part of the tough thing is you don't know where you are in space. And sometimes you exceed kind of the safety point of where your joints can go because you have so much laxity. So more flexibility isn't better. It's having the controlled flexibility and the controlled mobility that's important. So that first class kind of helped to sort of really kind of find yourself and kind of get the central nervous system kind of back on track, getting your head screwed on straight. We have the most proprioception at the base of your skull and your C1 vertebrae. So that little compression of the connection band from the head actually just helps to find where the other stuff is. So it's actually easier if you have a little compression there and you go to lift your legs up into the high knees. It's actually easier if you're somebody who's hypermobile to do that. You'll feel an immediate ease in the hips. So you wouldn't think those are connected, but they are, because we have the most proprioceptors there, second most at the hips. So so being able to make sure we're getting all the feedback, understand where that's at before we do something like jumping, those really, those will match very well. But once again, you can certainly do this class as a standalone class. We still built you up. There's a lot of elements of movement. The people that are in my Be Well, Stay Well, right now they've been doing a lot of the classes, so they understand kind of how to move their bodies in space. if you're totally a newbie you might not be a newbie to exercise, but you might be a newbie to moving with good quality. So that's always the thing that I like to emphasize, is that you really have to make sure you are able to move with good quality, you know where you are in space before you start adding, you know, the load and speed to these movements. So this was definitely a workout where we were adding load and speed. When you're coming down, it's load, right? And so this is, once again, a little bit more progressive. So this may not be the place to start. If you're brand new to exercise, I wouldn't say the jumping practice class is the one I would start with. But it's certainly one, as you do some of the kind of more foundational work, and like I said, we've got hundreds of videos. I usually record, at least for my classes, I record all of my classes. They go into a section that's an expiring content, which they will stay there so you kind of know where the most recent classes are. And then I will then put them in the on-demand library for later. So you can always mark your classes. If you find a favorite one, you can mark it as a favorite. We have an app in the App Store, so you can actually go and if you're subscribed, you can utilize the app, sign in, and it's a really nice way to find stuff if you're using your iPad to access it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just seeing a little example of kind of what I'm doing inside of BeWellStayWell.net. Like I said, it's $39 a month, and there's a free resources section. So actually, if you go to BeWellStayWell.net and you just hit, you go there, scroll to the bottom where it says free resources, completely free. It says $3. That's to prevent the bots from coming in. So there's a coupon code that keeps the bots away. So put the coupon code in and it's free, and you basically get into the library. And then I have a ton of just free stuff. There's some mini workouts and stuff in there, and just a whole section on, like, you know, how to do your checkpoints to make sure you've got good posture, and just some basic movement fundamentals, and then just a few little moves on some of the different pieces of equipment. And even I think there's a couple sample classes in there where you'll probably be able to hear the audio a little better than on this. But like I said, I just wanted to give you guys just a little sneak peek in there so you had the opportunity. It's a new year. Take care of yourselves as you are going through and, you know, kind of restarting your exercise program, or, you know, just for that matter, you know, starting from scratch. Especially if you've had any injuries in the last, you know, however long, you really need to make sure that you, if you're not sure, go visit your local PT. I don't know why they don't have, you know, you go to your dentist every 6 months. Why do they not say go to your PT every 6 months? Get a little checkup of where you need to work, or, you know, kind of getting a little tweak. Don't be afraid to, you know, invest a little money, go to your PT, or go to a trainer, or go to a Pilates teacher that has training in there. I'll tell you, Polestar Pilates teachers, I'm an educator for Polestar Pilates. We train our people on a very, very detailed fitness assessment, movement assessment, so that people can kind of see where you are lacking. And it's not a clinical evaluation. It's not going to say, you know, are you paying, you know, unless you have it from a PT and that's what your intention is. But it's really like, okay, where are you moving? Where are you not? Where do you not have control? That sort of thing would be really, really valuable to you. So let's say you live somewhere, and if you live in the Bay Area, I could go to Pro Balance Studio. But no, if you're anywhere, just put in the comments, ask where, you know, you can, you know, I'll take a look at your comments, but let me know, and I'll forward you to, I know people all over the place that do this, and they don't necessarily have to be Polestar, but I know for sure, because once again, I teach for this particular School of Pilates, and that is something we emphasize, is understanding really where the person is from a movement, mobility, all that, and then secondly, making sure we take in consideration your goals. So what is it that you would like to do? What do you think is limiting you? And then seeing if those are matching up and actually creating the program to work for you. So doing something like that is great. And then you're armed with that information. You can take that in, bring it into Be Well, Stay Well, or for that matter, do privates, right? There's plenty to go around. I'm not after, you know, I'm not after everybody's business. I'm saying there are plenty of Pilates people and plenty of people in this world that need to work on their movements. So just make sure, though, once again, you're working with quality, And I'm happy to advise on people that I might know in your area, because like I said, I'm pretty networked in the Pilates world. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me on this super long live stream. And you know, make sure you subscribe. Get into the free resource section at bewellstaywell.net, so at least you can know where to find me if you do need to ask a question. Because in that free resources, you can actually comment and ask questions on some of the things in there. So I'm not going to, once again, I'm not going to give you information that's specific to a diagnosis or your diagnosis. I might be more general because I don't want to be crossing the line of giving medical advice, because that's not what it is. It's education. All right, you guys, have a great day. It was so wonderful.